What's your swag, huh? So we're saying, what's your style? I got my blue jeans and my t-shirt. This one here was cut open and braided on the sides, and that is from Lee. Lee gave me this shirt. So thank you, Lee, and she's still with me, and she's still watching, and she's still commenting, and I think it's been almost a couple decades now. But what I wanted to talk about was never been any reason till now. What does that mean, right? You got to check out the shorts. Um, the lyrics to the shorts and the melody of the shorts is the energy right now. Now I'm going to explain this a little bit. Okay? So what you have is you have an energy of somebody that wasn't in your energy fully till now. So when I told you yesterday about how the ancient ones are coming together, everybody's coming together, this is that final chapter. That's what this song's about. That's what the melody's about. It's a feeling of it wasn't ready until now. Okay? The banana cake was not ready to come out of the oven until now. We had two kings. Now, I just said queen and kings, and I meant ace. So you're getting what I'm saying. It's really, really intense. There's a king and a queen coming together because they've gotten to the point where they're emperor and empress. They're going to become goddess and gods. Okay, but they can't become a god and a goddess until the emperor and the empress get together. It sounds a lot like Fairyland. The card Guided Toward Your Divine Purpose had a picture of the castle on it in the shorts. The Hanged Man was upside down. You've got a new perspective on this. You've got to think Fairyland. You've got to think Cinderella story. You do. That's what's going on. And if you can't live in Fantasyland and you can't bring your fantasies to reality, then you're not getting this whole leaving the matrix, which is the false reality, bringing in the spaceship, the 5D and higher, the multi-dimensions into your physical avatar reality. If you can't understand all that, then you're still stuck in the matrix, and you probably want to move to a different station, because this is getting very woo-woo now, okay? Never been any reason until now. Another thing I mentioned last video was how we've been together in many lives, and not all of them, but most of the lives we've lived, we've been with our significant other. They could have been our mom, our sister, our love, our pet, but we were with them. So pretty much every life you've been with them. It just hasn't been a romantic type thing where it was in the very first one. We're going back to the first one. So we're here now, all the stuff in between. What's your swag? What was your style in each one of them, right? What are you now? Well, now it's time to connect. Ace of Wands is new ideas, and that's what I'm trying to get across to you. We were so dumbed down and taught the opposite of what I'm trying to tell you to think. So I can understand if you think I'm a little bit off and a little bit woo-woo, but you know what? If you're catching what I'm saying, if you're catching my drift, you got this, okay? So we have to just let it play out. But the main thing is you have to be you. Just like when Lee cut these and made these beautiful braids on the side. Who would have ever thought that I'd be doing a video about it 20 years later, right? You just don't know. There was never been any reason for me to think about you, right? And look at, we are so connected, my friend Lee. I love you. She mentioned yesterday about how her significant other is definitely going to love dogs because she's got a few of them, right? With their own personality. Well, mine will have to love cats, obviously, because I have quite a few of them, right? Inside, outside, everywhere. I'm from Lemuria. What do you expect? 2 Ace of Wands. I don't know if you guys caught that on the shorts. We had the Ace of Questing, which is the Ace of Wands, and this is what the Ace of Wands means. In and out energy, intense creativity, interconnectedness, manifesting power, mirror-like nature. Now you have to remember, one of my favorite songs is Kid Rock, The Mirror. And I said I wanted to do a sequel to that, right? Because you can rise up. You can rise to meet your twin. The angels have been working on this for a long time. I give you an example of somebody that's rich and famous and somebody that's homeless. I was homeless several times. Then you have someone else which could be rich and never was homeless in this life, right? There's never been any reason at all for that rich person to think about that homeless person unless it's a inspiration for a song like Blue Jeans and a Rosary, Walking by Faith. There's so many titles in Kid Rock's music that are songs that were inspired probably by his significant other or his twin flame, but there's never been any reason for him to connect until now. Now's the time for him to leave his riches and follow his dreams. Where me being homeless, now is for me to show off my double wide, right? I'm showing off my double wide. Okay, so the rest of the shorts was the Queen of Pentacles and the Power card. That's me showing off my double wides. We had the Queen of Pentacles. She's got everything she needs. She's got her power. She's not homeless. We've got a new perspective, upside down. I wanted to look this over here too. It says, gotta give me a minute, I can't see. It says, the 12 card, the Hanged Man, Peter's crucifixion. That's Peter being hung upside down. So make sure to look up the story of Peter's crucifixion. Very important download's going to come in when you look up Peter's crucifixion. Then we have guided towards, here's guided towards that castle. Now, if the rich person's going to leave his riches behind and just maybe cash in for money, right? Put it in the bank, whatever. And the homeless person is showing off their double wide. Do you see how they can connect and have a great outcome? If they both can level up. So he would have to sell all of his things, like the rich man story. You also want to look in the Bible on the rich man having to sell all of his things and come follow me, because that's the energy. Now I'm using this all for examples so you can kind of see the picture. That's what's going on. So just because somebody never had any reason before to come towards you, to sell all their things, to change their swag, right? Well, now is the time. So you're going to be seeing a lot of this. So don't be sitting there either thinking that you're too poor, you're too this, you're too that. Everything's coming together now because we're leaving everything behind and we're moving into a new. So if you're moving into the new, you're just taking the soul memories with you and you're leaving the physical behind. And the rich person and the homeless person now have come to their level where pentacles no longer are good for him. He don't even have an authentic friend in his pile of shit, right? And the homeless person has everything she needs. She's the Queen of Pentacles now. Now they can reunite and move to the level where they can just enjoy. And the other thing I wanted to mention was a lot of times we don't want to get together either because we don't want to get hurt. We've been hurt so many times that it's just easier to stay numb. It's just easier to stay numb and homeless, numb and famous, numb in whatever situation you are. Maybe you're in a toxic marriage and it's just easier to sit there. Now's the time to bust through that thinking, because now's the time where we are finishing this last chapter. Yesterday I mentioned somebody's still in a toxic marriage or in a marriage that isn't their soulmate. Now's the time to leave. Yep. Even if you have to stay single for a while. But you and your twin, you and your divine partner will balance out. And then you're going to go to this next level where, as I was saying about being lonely and sick of being hurt, and so you're putting your guard up, right? Well, now you don't have to die. There's no more of this matrix dying shit. Now you guys can go either do a project together, you can stay here for 200, 300,000 years, or you can do the 5D multiple dimension thing that I mentioned yesterday and just come back like thunder and love in Thor's Love and Thunder. That's your next phase. And that's so much better than politics and unauthentic getting riches. It's so much funner than being homeless, going to shelters, and just wondering where your next meal's coming from, right? Okay, so 3 of Cups energy is, this doesn't have to be romantic either. This can be your divine partner that's your best friend, that's been a third party for a long time. But I feel more romantic. I feel more ancient. But again, I said not everybody can have their ancient one because they're too high ranking. They won't come in for a body. So you have to have your best friend throughout all your lives. Your soul, I call them soul partners, divine partners. You know who they are. They mirror you. You two mirror each other, except one could be homeless and one could be rich. But you still mirror each other. You're like brother, sister. Soul contract and communication, 3 of Cups. We're finishing our soul contract. Okay, and then the last card out was to trust your intuition. St. Michael's saying to trust it. If what I'm telling you is clicking, which it should be on everybody, if it's not clicking, then you might want to click off. Remember I said that could be a new saying. If it doesn't click, click off. Okay, so use your intuition and you'll see these things happen. I want to pick a few more from St. Michael and just remind you that we did have 2 Ace of Wands. So that's very significant, 2 Ace of Wands. And they also want you to be thinking about your swag a lot. So I gave you song to look up. I gave you Bible verses, the Peter's crucifixion and the rich man story. Check out the Queen, King, and Ace of Wands. Put them 3 all together with the Queen of Pentacles and you have your own mini reading right there. Yesterday we had all swords, right? Queen and King of Swords, King and Queen of Hearts. Okay, today we've got the Queen of Pentacles in power. She's got the main power here. Okay, and then we've got the two Ace of Wands. And then the final card out that didn't get on there, the final few cards, were Devote Yourself to Connectedness and the Hierophant. So that's a great way to end it, because I told you it's a high-ranking leader. All four kings is the Hierophant. That's when I said the Emperor and the Empress meet, but they become god and goddesses. Well, those are Hierophants. So you learned your lessons, you're top of the game. It's time now to move towards your spiritual reward. And that would be you and that person finishing out the rest of this movie, not separate. Not you being rich on stage and not you being homeless on YouTube, okay? So you want to devote yourself to connectedness. And then St. Michael's final words are, honor and trust your feelings. So that was the same as trusting your intuition. He wants you to honor and trust your feelings. And then he says, forgive yourself, you've done nothing wrong. So the reason that came up is because some of you are feeling like, well, I sold my soul to the devil. I've drank the red blood. I could no way be with an angel, my angel. I fucked up too bad in this life. Even something that extreme is erased if you are true and you truly tell God that you fucked up. And you really didn't fuck up. You went through a lesson and you learned from it. There really are no fuck ups. I use that word, but it's really not a fuck up because it's a lesson learned. If you don't go through these things, you don't learn. It was part of your karmic assignment. You wrote in your soul contract, I'm going to sell my soul to the devil and become a rock and roll star. And she wrote in her soul contract, I'm going to be as humble as fuck, and I am going to become homeless through my addictions, and I'm going to overcome everything, and I'm going to rise to the top. So you got two people that went to the top of their assignment, even though to the world it looks like two total different stories, right? You got one that's a famous rock and roll star, and you got one that lives in a double wide, but used to be homeless on all the big city streets, right? Confirmation. They both, to you, look like two different stories. He's got a mansion, more than one. She's got a double wide. Better than a bridge, under a bridge with the hobos, right? So you see what I'm saying? They both got to the top of their game. Then they left the game. That's what they're doing now. They're leaving the game together. That's what you guys are doing. So honor and trust your feelings and forgive yourself. You've done nothing wrong. So I don't care if you're homeless today or if you're rich today. See past that. See if you learned your lessons. See if you're ready to go to that final chapter. And I know you are if you're listening. I know you're ready. But you have to do it. It's not going to get done for you. The only thing that's going to happen if you don't do it is you're going to lose what you do have. And you're going to go backwards. And I really don't want to see that. And he finalizes this with the innocence cards. You done nothing wrong. Same thing. Same message. So if you're feeling guilt or shame about where you're at today, don't. Don't do it. Become you. Become what's your swag. What do you like to wear? What do you like to look like? What do you like to act like? Become you. I am Miss Mystic. Thank you for listening.